Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Learning Live for the last Tuesday in July. Kris, where is the summer going?
I do not know because I didn't even know it was the end of July yet.
Well, now you know, and it is the end of July, and we are going to light it up for this last Learning Live in July. And yes, I did go there. I did pull out the puns for this, but
Awesome.
the lights have been hugely popular. But we've gotten some questions on how to use them, how to choose between them. And Kris has been playing a fair bit with these easy lights and twinkle lights. I'll let her tell you about all the differences and similarities and actually play with you to show you how these work. So I'm going to stop talking and just hand things over to Kris as she helps you light it up on this final Tuesday in July.
Thank you, Sherry. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. I am, as Sherry said, having a great time playing around with these easy lights. There seems to be no end of things that you can light up. I feel like I need a sprinkler or a sparkler to make that point. Tonight I'm focusing on two, but I know that Sherry, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, showed you her, whoops, helps if I don't have lights on so you can see it a little better. I tried to make my room as dark as possible. So the little halo lights. So that's one example of a set of lights that I'm not working with tonight, but that give you the idea of a different version than what you're going to be seeing working tonight. So there are, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different versions of the easy lights or the pear blossom press lights. We have the twinkle lights. That's where all 3 stems flash. We have the easy lights where you press the button and they all light up at the same time. And then, as you saw in Sherry's, you have a circle light that lights up all at the same time behind something, but it gives you a circular brightness so that there isn't sort of like a little hot spot anywhere, which is beautiful. Let me show you that again, because this is quite something how this works. See how it lights up from behind and it gives you nice open area of lights without any hot spots. So that is what the halo one does. And then there is a candle one, and I think Sherry demonstrated that where you can actually blow it out, and it's a single one with a where you would have the light at the top and you'd blow that out. And there's a one light 2-pack that doesn't blow out but just flicks one light. And there is a halo light combo pack, which has a couple of different versions in it. So tonight I'm going to focus on the easy light and the twinkle light. You may have seen at the store this card that I put together with single lights. Is it single lights? No, this could be a double light. And I have the the little eyes of the fish and the turtle that get to glow in the dark. And what I did there, it doesn't really show when the light is on, but what's neat about it is I just colored in the eyeball in black. And the light still shines through, which is very, very cool. So when you're just looking at it, it looks like they have black eyes until you press it, and then their eye color changes, which is kind of fun. And those, I think, were, that was a 2 single pack, that one. So that was fun. That was from the old pack. This time I'm working with the singles or the easy light triples. So I have 3 alternately flashing lights and 3 that don't flash. So they just go on and off and on and off how you press it. But this one does the flashing, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I have made a layout. Again, this is a light thing. So this is Watch the Sunset, and I have a press here spot. And look at the twinkling in my stars. Is that ever cool, right? And I just happen to have, to make it look even better, I happen to have these little, I don't know if you can see them. They're little star-shaped stick-ons. So they light up quite nicely when the background sparkles. So that's what the twinkle light looks like when you're just playing with it. Now I'll show you how the whole thing gets constructed in a moment. I think I did another twinkle light here in my journal, and I'll go into detail how I got that done. And I have eyeballs that flash. Another twinkle light. Look at how fun that is. Now my plan is to go back and I want to get the rest of the eyeballs so that the circle of eyeballs are all going to be flashing. Isn't that cool? I'm having so much fun with these twinkly ones. And then I had an idea which I didn't get to, but a long time ago I did this little class with these pop boxes where you can put treats in. You can actually put a twinkle light underneath so that it sparkles around the outside. So I'm going to get one of those done and take it to the store so you can see what that looks like. So just to make your little boxes not only just beautiful as they are, but add another level of beauty to it. Now tonight, so these are two twinkle light ones, and I'll explain how I went about getting to these very quickly. And then I want to demo how I've used the single one that has 3 lights that you just turn on, the easy light, in the end of our session. So the twinkle lights, as I said, you press them and they blink. One of the things you have to remember is that you have to have some area for the components. So if I open up the twinkle lights, I can show you what the component looks like. So in the twinkle lights, you get 2 batteries and 2 bases. I should actually bring something to your attention here. So you get 2 batteries and 2 bases for the twinkle lights. So any of the light sets that you get, however many of these guys you get, you've got 2 of those. Now I do know that on Amazon I've seen no-name brands, I guess, that have these components that you can buy. You can buy them in bulk, you can buy them in 8s or whatever, but they don't give you the batteries. So by the time, and because it's no name, it's cheaper. By the time you add the batteries that you need to get to make those things work, it actually adds up to approximately the same price as you'd be getting them from your local store. So, and I just wanted to put that out there, that you're not saving anything by going to Amazon with this particular product. And the other thing you have to remember is that you get what you pay for in terms of brand names. Pear Blossom is well known for this. The other thing is that you don't get when you go to Amazon is there's nobody there to teach you how to use them. So part of the fun that you have when you purchase these kinds of things at a similar price with us is that you also get free use and free instruction on how to put things together. So just putting that out there, because I do know that there are things like this available, just as there are many of our crafting products. The thing is that we bring the service to it and we keep the prices low as humanly possible, and it ends up turning out to be close to the same thing anyway. So I'll stop my rant there. And so when you get your package, you get your 2 pieces of base plate and 2 batteries. So when you're putting them in here, you have to somehow be able to hide this mechanism. And it's not too thick. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick, but it has to go somewhere. So there's a whole bunch of different ways to do it. On this particular one, I just open the back and I've cut out a spot. So my piece, my upper paper and my lower paper are both separated by a 2 millimeter foam tape. And then within that, I've set down inside that the base. And what happens is this top part where you put the battery in actually sits above. So all I have to do, let me turn it off first. I'm putting pressure on it, that's why, is I just push the battery out. And sometimes you have to go in and find something that's a little bit longer than your fingernail, if you have short fingernails like I do. And you just push it out. There we go, popped out. And you know that the positive is where you need to put the positive of the battery, and that battery just goes and pops right in there. Now, it seems very complicated, but it is really not. And I used repositionable tape on the back side of that. Hopefully you can see that repositionable tape, maybe in the shadow there. And it just goes back over top like it was never lifted. So you do have to have somewhere to tuck the mechanism in. And that is, I think, the biggest challenge people have using these. And when they look at it, they think, what do I do with that? So that's, my page looks like any other page, but it has a little secret place where the mechanism goes and the press sign that lights it all up. So I'll get that out of the way. And it's the same with Sherry's halo lights and my single lights with the eyeballs of the fish. You've just got to make sure you've got a little bit of lift between your bottom paper and your top paper, just to hide the component, and that way you can slip your magnet in and out. With my journal, I did something a little different. I cut the journal page. I lifted, actually, I didn't cut. I lifted the entire layout of the journal from my book, found an empty double page spread. And what I did was I glued everything down, obviously putting the little lights in place where I wanted them, and taped it all down. Maybe I can open it. I can't really open it up for you, but I had just left this corner open. Let me move that up in the screen a bit. So when you see the page, it doesn't look like anything's different than the next page in the journal. It turns like a journal page turns. Nothing is any different. But this corner has an opening. And all I do to replace my battery is I lift the corner. And again, I push out my battery. Here, let's try a pencil this time. There we go. Pull my battery out. Simple. Make sure my plus sign goes in and put the battery back in. Paper goes down and it works. So it looks like nothing is there until you look for the side. Oops, sorry. There you go. So you can do it that way as well. Now, I mentioned this. I'll just talk a bit about this for a minute before I do the demo. With this one, I think I would put a false bottom in this, and then the wires would come up from the inside, along the inside, and I would have a double inside so that the wires would hide just inside the lip of the when these two things go together. So I'll show you that on the side. Come on, there we go. So on the inside, you can see that the edge of this lines up with the edge of this frame that goes around. So I can poke my lights up through the inside of this and just have them sitting at the top. So when the lid is down and you push this down and put pressure on it, it will click and the lights will go off. But I haven't done it, so that's only theory at the moment, but I am convinced that it will work. All right, so that was the twinkle lights. The twinkle lights were the eyeballs and the stars, and the halo light was Sherry's, and the singles that you can't blow out were the fish eyes, and I'll run through that again. And then I have the easy lights. So 2 pieces. They're individuals, but they have 3 strands at the end. Whoops, out of camera. 3 strands at the end instead of just 1 strand at the end, which is what is on the fish. And what I've done here, I have created a few things in advance because I didn't want this to take forever. So I have a background, I have my little, I'm making a happy new home card, and I want to light up these little lighted areas. Now this is ready to go, but I want to show you how I got there. Oh, and that's the chimney. So I want to show you how I got there. There's a couple of things that I've learned with when you're putting lights behind small things. One of the things I did not like about the fish, and I don't know if I can show you, I might have fixed it. Let me just turn that off. It's not too bad, but you can see that there's a glow that comes out from behind the fish there and around the fish or the turtle's head and the fish's head. I didn't like how when I did windows that you could actually see the hot spot on the beside the windows. So I figured out how to fix that. So you're getting the benefit of not only me showing you how to actually do it, but an upgrade from that as well. So the first thing you have to do when you have an image like this is do all your coloring and everything as you would normally do. You don't have to trim it out. I just wanted to pop dot it because my mechanism is going to hide under the actual house. So it's going to flip up under the actual house. That's where I've decided. You may decide that you're going to 3D it and have it sitting flat, and well, you'd still have to lift off in order to change the battery. So either way, it doesn't matter. Maybe I will do it 3D. I don't know. I haven't got there yet. So you've got your piece colored, and you are cutting out with an X-Acto knife those little windows. And it looks daunting, like, you know, but it's really, it takes like 2 seconds. It's really not that big a deal. I didn't do this one because I didn't need to. I'm just going to demonstrate how to create the non-existent hotspots that generally show up. Okay, so the theory is that you get some vellum and you color it whatever color you want your lights to look like. And I've got these colored yellow, and you'll see when it functions what that looks like. And so you just, like in my case, I just took a marker and I did just enough to go behind my windows. Okay, so that's all that was. Just enough to go behind the windows. I've wasted more, but I used my scraps, so I'm not concerned. So that's the first step. Get the color that you want to show up in the windows. Maybe you just want it to be white. I happen to have an evening scene here, so mine were turning yellow like incandescent lights in the house. So that now is going to need to be stuck behind there. But if I just stuck this behind there, and I'm sorry, the lights are going off and on all the time, but I want to show you what will happen. Let me get there we go. So if I just left it like this and put my light underneath, let me just get my light there. I could put my light in the middle, but you see the hot spot? I don't know if you can see it on screen. It's kind of hard because it's lit, but literally in the center where I have the light, maybe I can do it better. There, you can start to see the hot spot in the center there. That's not really, that's more like a candlelight to me than an actual lamp or something. So I figured out that if I put my lights just off to the side, like you wouldn't have your lamp in the middle of a, this is probably more work than you probably need to do, but you know me, all fussy and everything. You don't normally have your lamps right in front of your window, so I don't mind having the light coming from one side. However, when I do that, I get light shining, a hot spot shining through my paper, and I don't like that. So how I figured out how to fix that is you get any kind of dark paper scraps you have, and you know I have them all, and you're going to double up the paper behind this. So basically all I did was I took a scrap, it didn't matter what the scrap was, got my pencil, traced the inside of my window just so I had an idea where the window was, and I'll do it on all of them. You don't have to do the inside because you're going to cut out. And then I get my craft knife. As you can see, I have my windows there. So now I'm just going to go around the outside edge of my windows, you know, about 1/16 of an inch. I'm not going to worry about details. I'm just going to cut that shape. Doesn't matter if it's exactly accurate. No, doesn't matter at all. And it's better if it's outside the lines. So if I have my shape here, I'm not going to cut inside the line. Oh, can you see it there? I'm not going to cut inside the surface. I'm going to cut on the outside edge. So I give myself 1/16 of an inch on the outside edge. All right, there we go. So there, that's it. That's all I did. So now, where is my tester? My tester card. I lost him. Oh, here he is. Okay, so if I, and bear with me, if I put my light, I'm going to show you again. If I put my light in the center of my window, you get a hot spot. You see that hot spot? If I put my light on the outside edge of my window, you don't get a hot spot in the window anymore, but you do get a hot spot in the paper. And even when you color it, like if I put this behind my colored paper, I don't get as hard of a hot spot, but look, you still can see that light. So this is just going to help me mask that. And I don't need to have it big, and I do need to glue it. So I'm going to glue it down first. Or am I? I don't think no, I think I'm going to, no, I have to glue this down first, right? Because it's got to go over the window first, because it's the yellow that's going to make the difference in the color. And then I line these guys up, and I just make sure that I don't go within the window frame. So I make sure that my window, I cannot see it in my window. So make sure that it's all lined up in there so that I don't see any of the dark in there. And it's magic. Watch what happens. So I'm going to put my light on the side of the window. Look, no hot spot. And it looks like a lamp. And if you change it from the top to the bottom, you can have tall lamps. Oops. And you have to have it flush. Sorry, let me do that again so you can see it a little better. So there's my finger. I'm trying not to get the finger in the way, but the hot spot is gone. Okay, so that is the trick to get rid of hot spots. And even on the anything that you're cutting out so the light will shine through, you're going to use that same trick if you don't want the hot spots to show. So here's my little guy. I've already done that routine to the back. I've actually put the yellow paper on the back of the block piece. I don't think I like that because this is closer to the frame of the window. This is now farther away and it makes me feel kind of like it's too far back, but it will still look awesome. Now I have to make sure that I get these stuck down, and I use tape because the whole thing ends up getting stuck down in a whole different way anyway. So I just get myself a couple of little pieces of tape, and I'm going to have my lights coming from the direction there and there. And this one, I want my light coming from the top down because the hallway light is usually from the top down. I know I'm being fussy. Which is the hallway light. There we go. So I'm just turning the light and holding it in place. Now you got to make sure your tape doesn't go over your window because you don't want to see the tape. Otherwise you'll have a blocked spot. And again, this is going to come just a bit at the top of the window, but to the, whoops, I got to make sure I don't cover my, there we go. You always put your lights on first before you figure out where you're going to hide everything, because it will make the difference as to what direction you're putting the actual wires. And if you get the bottom all figured out and you can't reach where you want to go, then it's kind of missing the point, right? If you can't get to the hole that you made. And I have some tips on tools as well. So now I'm just going to put this up against here so that you get the effect. So look at that. Now, if you look at where the source of the light is coming from, I don't know if it's very obvious. When I get it all together, it'll be much more obvious. So the light is coming from the upper right-hand side of the windows, and it's coming from above the door. And when I turn off the lights, when it's all put down, you'll probably see that more clearly. All right, so now I have a lot of wire. So I want to make sure that I'm very careful not to break anything, because you do not want your wire to, so you kind of just like curl it up and hide it behind. And if you're going to put a hole here, then you would actually tuck it under. Maybe that's a smarter idea. Let's do that. So I am going to put this guy here. Want to be able to access. So I'm going to put that part. Wait a minute. Got to get it down here. It's got to be on the street. So he's going to be there. So I am just going to put light little lines indicating where the tops of things are so that I make sure I'm not going to show after I make my cut. So I am going to cut a section out of here to tuck this guy in so that when it's pop dotted on my back, it can all hide under there. So let me just do that. So I'm just going to randomly put a hole in here. You're saying, Kris, don't randomly put a hole. But I'm going to do it because all I really need to have out is where the battery goes. And I just need enough space to make sure I can tuck my wires too. Look at that, random cut. Now this guy, I'm just going to make sure I have enough space. and I do not have enough space. So I need to make them go up a little bit more. So I'm not going to use the knife anymore because that's dangerous. I will cut myself. So I'm just going to go up a little more here, across a little more there, down just a bit more here. There we go. Oh, good thing that's underneath. You don't want to rip it. You should really cut it. All right. So there we go. That's going to be good enough for me to get my battery out. So that's perfect. Okay. So now I want to make sure that I have a little bit of adhesive across the top here. And I usually use double-sided tape because I don't want to add bulk there. That is going to stick to the paper that's on top. So I'm right above where all those wires go in. I'm putting a little piece of double-sided tape. And you will see my reasoning in a moment. All right. So this little piece of double-sided tape is going to stick and hold that in place. I'm not going to do anything else but a little bit of double-sided tape on the back here. I do not want to tape down this button because it can get stuck, and you do not want to wear out your battery and have the light on forevermore. So let's get this pop dotted because we're going to hide all of the wires, except you need to have some of them out. I put this in, I'm going to put this in this way, sorry, because I need to tuck, my house has to be on the front, right? So now I can tuck all the wires in after. And I pulled off my double-sided tape, which I'm going to leave there. We're pulling everything through. Whoops, we're stuck on the flowers. There we go. Now we've got our little guy here. And I still want to make sure that when he lights in the directions I want to see. Yep. All right. So now this guy can go back here. Oops, got him upside down. It's a little bit messy, but there we go. All right, my button is still there. Perfect. Everything is tucked in. Sometimes you have to play with it just a little, but you're just going to do that gently, just to make sure that all the lights, oh, something's stuck there. All the wires get tucked under. All right, there we go. And there we go, everything's happy. Now I'm going to get my 2mm tape. You can use 1mm as well because it's thin enough. And I'm just going to block off because it's easier if I cut it. I got a Band-Aid on my finger and it's making me helpless. I don't like the helplessness. There we go. And these guys are going to swiggle to one side. You don't have to put this much on. You can put it because you don't see anything. I'm just wasteful, surprisingly, when it comes to this tape. Okay, I'm just going to put a strip here just to help it, and some I think I'll put 1 millimeter pop dots on that one, just to be safe. If you don't have 1 millimeter, two-sided tape will be fine. I just want to make sure that I'm getting the thing to pop out. Actually, I don't need to. I can just put double-sided tape. It'll be fine. So I have a bit of that somewhere. Are there any questions so far? Anybody looking at this going, oh my God, I can't do it?
I think everybody's just taking it in. It's been pretty quiet.
Ah, okay. So I'm just putting a couple of pieces of tape here, double-sided tape. This is the problem, is getting the top off the double-sided tape.
And that really is one of the keys of these mechanisms, is that foam tape, just to make sure that the buttons have enough clearance, the wires have enough clearance, and just gives you lots of opportunity to play. Yeah, because we like that play part. Now, I'm not even attaching this yet, as you can see, but I do have to make sure that my wires are going under there. So I do a last, before I stick it down permanently to the backing, I do a last scooch of wires. Whoops, I'm off screen, sorry. Oh, and I'm off light too. So I'm just pulling the wires out the back, making sure that they go back there. There we go. This one doesn't seem to want to go. There we are. Okay. My fingers are sticking. Okay, so we're going to take, well, you know what? It's always a good idea to be, see, I would have just yanked it off, but let's be a little bit more cautious, Kris. The inside ones we can yank off. These ones we're going to fold so we have our pull-off tape outside of our form so that we can play around and line it up properly. And I'm going to stand to do this because I like to see what I'm doing. There we go. And we're going to make sure, first of all, that we have the card in the right direction, that the wires are tucked inside, and that we're lined up all the way around. So that's good, that's good, that's good. And then we just pull our strips out. No, what's going on there? Just got cranky. And there we go. All right, and there's our, it's a little crooked, but not bad. I would be fussier. And now, one thing I forgot to make sure is that this guy was lined up properly so that he can be easily removed. There we go. So if you look at my gizmo here, again, I just put my thumb in there and pull out the battery. Except my thumbnails, oh, there we go. All right, so battery came out easy. Battery's going in easy. All right, the wires are hidden. I might have to just scooch them around a little bit. Now I'm going to put a flap on here so that this actually, oops, I might need a little more wire. Because this is supposed to be down here. So I'm going to put a flap on here so this will fold up and use my I went blank. The green tape, the dots, the green dot tape stuff, the non-permanent repositionable. That's what I'm looking for. Repositionable.
That's going to go on my flap. And I make my flap out of any old thing. In fact, no, that's too short. So I'm going to make my flap big enough. I just took like, I think this is 3/4 of an inch or a 1/2 inch something. And I'm just kind of eyeballing. And I just tore a piece off, and literally I'm just now going to fold it in half. This is going to sit. Wonder if I can turn this over somehow to show you. This is going to sit here. So it looks like a book. So let me just glue that down. I don't do a lot of measuring. I probably should do measuring. But I guess if it works, it doesn't really matter. Okay, now that's going to be stuck on there. And I'm putting it in a point where on this image, I can fold this little bit back so that that flap now will open like a book, and I can go inside and replace my battery. Okay. And I do want it to pop a bit. And if you want it to pop at this point, see, okay, if you don't want it to pop, it's fine. You just adhese it with a little bit of double, not double-sided, repositionable stuff, and it will stay down, okay, until you fold it up to open it up. So let me just get that fold happening. There we go. But if you want it to be 3D, you can still do that. You will just have to powder the pop dots. So any pop dots that you put on this, you're going to want to powder it. But let me tell you that it will affect how the lighting works behind here if it's not flat, because the lights will come out from behind. And you don't really want that to be the case. You want it to lay flat. Make sure your flap is working. Put some glue on your flap. And this is where I hold my breath and hope it all comes together. Make sure that I line it up where I wanted it. And everything is covered. Look at that. Okay. So my green repositionable tape is in here. Okay,
Kris,
you're gonna
before you, oh, sorry, before you move on, we do have a quick question from Judy. She wants to know which X-Acto knife you are using.
Oh, this is an X-Acto knife. It's a number 11 blade. But I have no what's the word? I have no loyalty to any kind of blade. Like I have ceramic X-Acto knife blades. I have little itty bitty X-Acto knife blades. And you think these are easy? They're not. They're harder to use than the big guys. That I have learned. But any X-Acto knife will work. Even those big yellow ones. I think I have those too somewhere. I have one of those big yellow ones. Anything that has a sharp tip, it will work. So I'm not into proprietary X-Acto knives. The Tim Holtz retractable one is attractive to me because it's retractable. So I'm just going to put some of this repositionable tape on all the areas. I could have done it before I did this. That might have been a better idea because now it's kind of tricky. There we go. So now I'm going to put that down. Okay. Oh, I love it. And I have to get this I can put with regular This is my chimney. That goes, I just love the idea of this wooden chimney. So much fun. And I have a saying in here somewhere. This I will pop dot. I'm just going to take some little bits of pop dot. Happy new home. And one more thing I need to do. Right. I have some white to make some smoke. And smoke is just little white lines. Sometimes a little thicker in some areas. And this background was made with, I actually, you know me, I have to challenge everything. The little mini Tim Holtz new blending brushes, I did this background with. Because, you know, they said that it is a stencil brush, not a background brush. I had to test it. It is actually lovely for blending backgrounds. You can see how nice a background that blended into. This, I did little lines, so it's supposed to look grassy, but you can see in the sky and everything how nicely it blended. Blended lovely, but I think because you have to be a little bit heavy-handed, the little tiny bristle ends were getting damaged because I was, you know, blending too much. So I can honestly say the bigger brushes for blending bigger areas, the small brushes for stenciling is exactly true. Just thought I'd throw that out there since I have tried it. And there we go. So do you want me to turn the lights out or do you want me to keep the lights on? That's the thing. Oh, you know what? We forgot the little stamp. This is where to press. How are you going to know otherwise? I love the stamp set that comes with that stuff. I've used it for so many things. Whoops. Ta-da! All right, now people will know where to stamp. So, lights on, lights off. Anybody?
Lights off.
Lights off. Okay, let's do the lights off. And then you'll see the direction of the lighting. Watch. Put my fingers
You
up
do
here.
have to come down a little bit. Come down. There you go.
I'm down. Oh, okay. I need to get my fingers out of the way as well. You ready? Oh, no. See, you can't see the direction, but you can see the lighting. Now, let me just do this. And then you can see the directions. See how the lighting's coming from the top edge there, the top edge there, in the middle, in the center, over top of the door. So it is directional. Oh, uh-oh. It's a meltdown. So that is it. Couple of quick things. Do I have a little bit of time, Sherry? Just a little bit?
Yep, you're good to go.
I'm good to go. All right. So making holes. Making holes is important. There are different ways to make holes, and you want to be specific. And if you're not sure, start small. So your little pokey tool that's super, super, super thin and sharp is the one you want to start with, because if you start with, whoops, wrong end, a bigger one, there's no going back, right? So look at the difference in the tips of those One is super tiny and the other one is a little bit bigger. So that's important. Also, you want the tip to be sharp because the more rounded tips, even though they're great for weeding, they're not great for making holes. And sometimes you can rip through the paper rather than poking in through the fibers. So you want to make sure it's nice and sharp. And then after that, you can, manipulate it around to make the hole bigger if you need to have the hole bigger. So for these guys' eyes, I went big. And for these, for this one, I can't remember what I did. Oh, I went small on this one. So little tiny holes. On this one, I did eyeball sized holes. Just because I wanted more of the light to flash through. So the size of the hole does make a difference in terms of where you see it. In these guys, I put the little filament that is the light bulb right where the hole was. So I wanted that to come shining and blasting through. As you saw tonight on this one, I put them off to the side because I wanted the light to look like it was on a lamp inside the room, but not right in front of the window. On this one, I made the holes bigger so that you would see more, and I put the light bulb almost popping out. If you look closely at this one, you can see the light bulb there. I wanted it to really show out. And these guys, I actually colored over the light so that, and it really, you can see the texture. Well, you can't see the texture, but I can see the texture of my paint on the eyeballs on my my marker. So that made it kind of cool as well. And with Sherry's, the lighting from behind gives, like it says, that halo effect. So you don't need to have any holes at all. You just need to make sure you have that vellum piece in there to make everything light up. So crazy as it is, that's what I've been doing with all of this stuff. And it's been loads of fun. Loads of fun.
Kris, with those 3 packs and with the twinkle lights, is there just one set of lights in each pack?
Oh, no,
there are multiple sets?
There's multiple sets. Let me tell you what's in each. So in our twinkle lights, those are the ones, and I like to use my fingers. Those are the ones where you have 3 that twinkle, okay? So they alternate. They don't flash at the same time. There is 2 sets in that. 2 of these sets in there, okay? The easy light, which is also 3, but it blinks on and off like this, and you have to press to make it go. This one you press once and it twinkles a few times, and as long as you hold it, as soon as you let go, it turns off. This one you press once and it lights, and it'll stay lit, but in order, you can't make it, twinkle. It just goes on, off, or stays on as long as you let it stay on. And this also has 2. Then there is the halo lights, which was in Sherry's behind the Minnie Mouse. There's 3 in that pack. The blowout candle, the one that you can actually blow with air, which is totally cool. I didn't get my hands on it before it sold out. I don't know how many are in there. I think there's 2. There might be 1 because that's kind of a special one.
I'll go and check. You keep going. I'll come back in a second.
And the single light, where it just has 1 unit and 1 light, like for your candle cards, for instance, or butterfly cards, whatever, where you have 1 piece coming off and it clicks on and off. That one, there's 2 in the pack. So you get multiples in the pack. And remember, you get those batteries. And surprising enough, those batteries do have a cost to them. So you want to make sure that you're using your money wisely. And of course, that you get the service behind the product. And
just to come back, the candlelight is a 2-pack.
It is a 2-pack, yeah.
And with the halo light, just to be to explain the details, You get one of the circles, which is the halo light, and you get two of the one light. So you do get three, but it's not three of the same. It's one halo light and then two single lights.
Single lights that just have the one end to them.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Awesome.
Well, thank you very much, Kris. That was a lot of fun. And I think because you do get two lights at least in every pack, it gives you one to kind of play with and figure out, and then one to do your, what I would call your good copy.
Yes.
So don't be afraid that if you try a pack and you make a mistake, you can still make a second card.
Yes. And don't forget, paper is that, just paper. So if you mess up the first time, you just take it apart.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kris. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. And we look forward to seeing all of your light up projects as you try these lights out. Kris did allude to the fact that the candle lights are out of stock. We are planning a replenishment order with Pear Blossom Press in August. They've got a couple of new releases that we're very excited about for August. So we're just holding off until we have access to those items, but it's going to be lots of fun. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Kris. And we will see everybody again next Tuesday for our first August Learning Live. Have a good night, everyone.